Welcome to Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement, part of the Treehouse Podcast Network. I'm your host, Steve Rutherford. Co-host for today, Detective Curtis Hadley.
Glad to be here, guys. Thank you.
And we're joined with two guests in studio today. We've got returning guest, Brandon Bray.
Yeah, good to be here again.
And that is retired.
Retired. Let's make sure we specify that.
Yes, emphasis on retired. And also joining us in studio, we've got Lieutenant Tank Douglas.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Absolutely. Welcome to the studio, gentlemen. And again, Brandon, you were on episode 32, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think that's right.
You're here with old Nate Johnson from Little Elm PD.
Yes, sir.
And again, just to remind our listeners, you are retired.
Correct.
How long you been retired?
Just shy of 2 years now. Worked for Dallas PD for almost 10 years, and then the now non-existent Northeast Police Department in Denton County, Texas.
But you retired from the Krugerville Police Department, although never wearing their uniform.
Yeah, never wore the uniform, never had a badge, but yeah, that's who I am retired with right at the moment.
You know, if I could have skipped all those years and I could have just gone somewhere and retired from there without ever having to wear their badge. No, okay, yeah, probably.
It's like a Super Bowl ring, right? You never played for them, but you still get one.
Yeah, I think my reference last time was I was like the bullpen catcher.
There
I didn't
you go.
actually have to do anything, but I still got a
I'm
ring.
on the payroll, guys. That's all that matters.
League minimum.
And to kind of explain that, you had Northeast PD. They end up splitting up. So then you have Krugerville forms their own PD, and then Crossroads does a PD.
Correct.
Well, you were out.
Yeah, I got injured and ended up having to medically retire from law enforcement. So by the time all that got cleared out and I was going through my retirement stuff, Krugerville was holding my certification, but then I couldn't come back. So I ended up retiring from that department, but never was able to work for him.
That's great. That's great. And I think I said this last time, a Jedi trick.
Absolutely. These are not the officers you're looking for.
Now, Tank, you are currently a lieutenant, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what agency do you work for?
Collin County Sheriff's Office.
Very good. How long you been out in Collin County?
It'll be about 2.5 years now.
And worked for any other agencies?
Yeah, I originally started up north with the Sheriff's Office up there in Lancaster County and didn't like it up there. It was too cold for me. I applied with Dallas in 2001, got hired, was there for 17 years.
Is that how you ran into this guy?
Yeah, that's how I ran into
Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on his view.
So you were in Dallas also. How many total years in law enforcement?
25 as of this month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, 25, man. That's a magic number for a lot of folks.
Yeah, but I'm in a cush spot right now, so I think I can get 5 more.
There you go.
Get
I think I
5
can.
more in. There's a big difference between 25 and 30.
Yeah, I think I can
There's
get
5 years
more.
difference.
And he aged well, so based off of looks, he could probably get another 15.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting show today. Just listening to you guys before we got here in studio, the stories you guys have working together, very, very humorous. So who wants to start off sharing one of those stories with us?
I can. I guess I can go back to how we originally met. There's kind of 2 stories, when I was in my rookie days in Dallas, about 2007-ish, when I just got off training. I was still on what Dallas calls little T. Most departments have it. Like you get off training and then you ride with a senior partner for a while. And I was working nights. I think Tank was working days, but he was working overtime. And my partner and I did a traffic stop out on Northwest Highway. Just happened to be out in front of the male adult strip club, the LeBaire, whatever we would professionally call that right now.
The male strip club, not the female one.
Yeah.
The male one.
Correct.
Okay.
And the traffic stop occurred right at about 1:59-ish. So as we're in the middle of the traffic stop.
the magic hour.
Yeah, the bar is closing and all the intoxicated ladies are coming out of this male strip club. And I have a squad car pull up behind me. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. We have a cover unit. And I'm standing there, and nobody ever gets out of it. And the crowd keeps getting bigger out in front of LeBaire. And then all of a sudden, this guy gets on the PA behind me with his best stripper DJ voice and announces me and my partner as next on stage while we're in the middle of Northwest Highway. And I'm literally maybe, 10 months into working for Dallas going, is this how life is really going to be? And yep, that's exactly how it ended up being. So we have all these girls cheering for us. while we're on a traffic stop, trying to be professional on this traffic stop, and this guy over here breaks the ice by announcing
Officer
me.
Nightstick, best on.
Yeah, I mean, if he busts out the DJ voice right now, you guys will understand why they were cheering.
Yeah. Well, I saw your talents back then.
I was a little bit skinnier then too, so
You think you could have pulled it off?
I don't know about that, but in my imagination, I probably could have.
All the dollars he would have got.
Yeah. Well, I got 10% of that for announcing.
Manager. He was a manager already.
Yeah.
He's his pimp.
Yeah. Essentially, yes, that's what it is. Yes.
Manager. Oh, okay. Tank is Brandon's manager, or was. You guys probably would have made a lot of money doing that. I'm just saying.
I would have.
Yeah, he would have made a
I
lot more
would've,
than me.
yeah.
But I would have just warmed up the crowd. They would have, paid me to get off the stage, and then he would have gotten on.
You probably would have made more than him then.
Possibly. I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of rolls into, when I first officially met him, like when we first were on a call together, I had gotten off that little T time frame and was finally able to work overtime. So I worked nights almost my entire training period in Dallas. And so I'm working during the day on overtime. And you know how it is. Most people say everything looks different at night. Well, everything legitimately looks different during the daytime when you've never seen it before.
Oh, absolutely.
So we have an officer that's going out to I think a burglary of a motor vehicle. He calls out for an officer assist, and then he's on, in a foot chase with him, and the guy had a gun and all this other stuff. And I'm trying to figure out where the hell I am, and in the day, in traffic, no idea, no clue. And I finally end up showing up to this officer assist, and there's like 3 officers in the parking lot, but I don't see any suspect. And then all of a sudden, Tank walks out from the side of a car, and he's holding the guy by his belt like he's a suitcase in handcuffs, walking towards me as I'm pulling through the parking lot. And before my car even comes to a stop, he opens up the back door, just tosses him in, closes the door, and walks away. And I'm sitting there, rookie, just off training, working my first shift of overtime, going, I have absolutely no idea what I'm supposed to do right at the moment. And so that
Go
was,
with PI.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
yeah. So that's how this 15-year relationship has been going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But you on that traffic stop when he announced you as next on stage, you didn't even know who he was at the time?
I mean, everybody knew who Tank was.
Okay.
But yeah, I had absolutely no idea, never spoke to him before.
No.
But he knew,
great.
I mean, hey, Tank knew my name when he was announcing me, so he got it right.
I really didn't talk to rookies back then. Anyway, but I didn't know who you were.
Probably, but
Yeah.
And of course, Tank, you carrying someone, just walking up and throwing him inside the car. And for those not watching on YouTube, those listening, Tank, how tall are you?
6'4",
How much you weigh, sir?
290.
6'4", 290. Brandon?
I'm short, but I weigh more than he does. So
Well, and going back to episode 32 again, we established you doing powerlifting and stuff.
yeah, correct. That's why nobody can see it, but I'm in a boot right now because I broke my foot doing a deadlift about a week ago. So
Well, and how much
And
were you
that's-
trying to lift when you broke your foot?
705.
And see, that's why I don't work out, man.
It's dangerous.
People get hurt in the gym.
Yeah.
It's dangerous
It
work.
is very.
So you broke your foot doing a deadlift, lifting weights off the ground.
Correct.
Were you standing on one foot when you tried to pick up 705?
No. So because of my size and the way that I walk, because of certain injuries I've had, I have stress fractures on my feet, and every once in a while they'll just pop, like it snaps. And so I had 700 pounds. I got it up to my knee, and I felt it go. Still tried to finish the deadlift, took off all the weight, and then just stayed at 405 until I was done with my workout, and then went to the doctor.
So you felt your foot go,
Yeah,
and you still wanted to go ahead and lift the weight.
yeah. I mean,
It just worked.
He's
I
not
gotta
a quitter,
I gotta finish the
Steve.
workout, right?
He's not a quitter.
I got a competition coming up. I gotta finish it.
It's only 705 pounds. You get up to your knees, your foot breaks, you just go ahead and work through
I'm pretty
that.
sure he was thinking, if I have to get it cut off, I can just get a peg leg and I'm good.
And then I wouldn't have that problem.
Absolutely.
Anymore, right?
705 pounds. Damn, dude. And you said you're trying to hit a record for the police games, right?
Yeah, I haven't looked at. So I hit the record back in June for the U.S. games, for the police and fire games, and then I'm going to Worlds as long as everything heals up in Alabama in June. So I haven't looked up what the deadlift record is there, but I'll be going for the bench record as well. So
Okay, you told us before deadlift. You had a goal, I think, of 720.
yeah, 720 is my goal for this next competition. I should be able to hit it, hopefully, as long as my foot heals up. Bench press, my goal is going to be 515.
I got nothing.
I'm not even a spotter at this point.
There's really nothing you can do.
I am the
for
guy that
spotting
calls
anyways.
911 when crap goes wrong. I'm like, I might be a cop, but I can't help this guy.
Yeah, once you get over about 400 pounds, spotters are kind of pointless because if you drop that weight, you're dead anyway. So like, there's nothing.
That's why it's a
spotter's gonna be able
deadlift.
to do.
Yeah.
It still amazes me that you're lifting so much weight that you could break a foot while you're doing it.
No, I mean, it could have just all been coincidental as well that it just happened at that time. But I'm gonna assume the weight that I was trying to lift may have had something to do with it.
It does sound more sexy when you say it that way. You slipped in the tub, didn't you? Just tell us.
No,
Just tell us.
I don't even fit in my tub, man. So
He broke his foot lifting 705 pounds while standing in the parking lot of LeBaire prior to going on.
the reason why it went bad was because I didn't have him announcing me while I was
Right.
out there.
Yeah. Well, that costs money.
Maybe that's where his love with the pole came in, you know?
Yeah.
That is one of the things I do or that I've done when I do my deadlifts. I always clear off one side of the bar before the other so that I can tip it up, and then that always crosses my mind that it's just like a stripper pole as soon as I lift it up.
Curtis, you were supposed to follow up with your property and evidence folks about that stripper pole that you guys had in your property room at one point.
I apologize. I did not. I was busy, but I will look into it when I get back to work.
If it's no longer evidence, please convert that over to government use. Wait, we'll have the stripper pole put in here in the studio.
I can't wait to just have it hanging out in my city cars. I'm trying to drive it over here. It's like, no, she's in the trunk. I got everything else in the back seat.
All right, so you guys worked together for quite some time then there in Dallas. What's the craziest thing you guys ever ran into together?
Well, I'll let him throw stuff out there since he's still on the job. I don't want to get anybody in trouble here. So
I didn't really. Brandon kind of almost. I wouldn't say you followed me around. You just showed up a lot.
I did show up
Stalker.
Yeah, he just kind of showed up a lot. But before he got on, we got to do a lot of stuff before certain chiefs got involved. But back then, it wasn't uncommon that, especially around the 4th of July, we used to have a police room off of, I won't say the street because everyone knows where it's at. We had 2 older officers in there that would love to go in there and take their number 2s. So me and my partner had the 2 M80s. I said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to set them by the door, and we're just going to drive off. So those M80s both go off, and I'm talking about they are loud, especially in that area because it's a shopping center, so it just echoes.
Nice.
So as we're driving off and we're laughing, I won't say his name, he gets on the radio and he starts screaming, "We're under attack, and everybody. Lord Jesus, they're throwing bombs over here," and we're laughing. Well, a particular sergeant who always saved us at the time comes over there and he's figuring out, well, the M80s had blown the windows out.
Oh, damn.
Top windows out of the police room. I'm just like, we're screwed.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, we're screwed. So this particular sergeant calls us back over and he goes, where have y'all been? I was like, we just driving around, just got over here. And he goes, yeah. Well, that's weird. I just checked AVL and you guys were over here 5 minutes ago. I was like, what?
Really?
Oh, he goes, who did it? I was like, we did it, sir. And he goes, you blew the windows out. I was like, oh, Jesus. So he goes, well, just one of those things where these kids are out here just acting up. So I was like, I sure appreciate that. And he goes, oh, yeah, you will, because you're going to work overtime tomorrow. I was like, I'll work overtime every day if you want me to. I just don't want to take a write-up for that. But those 2 particular old heads, and I particularly told my sergeant, like, please don't tell them. Because I'm already going to know. I'm sure one of them probably had a heart attack and dumped himself twice while he was in there. But
technically, you were just helping him with the
at
natural
that
process.
age, he probably didn't have his fiber or whatever, and I just basically, expedited the process is what I did.
They say a near-death experience can make a lot of things better.
You know what? That is very true. That is very, very true. So that particular sergeant saved us many, many times from doing dumb stuff like that, for sure. But Brandon didn't have as much of a pleasure of us doing stuff like that. We kind of stuck, me and my partner kind of stuck to ourselves about doing dumb stuff like that. We try not to shelter the young ones from dealing with that stuff.
You got me my first car chase.
Yeah.
When you were undercover in a 6-cylinder Mustang and got rammed on the highway.
Yeah. I was very known for a shit magnet, and my supervisors had to tell me many times, we're doing nothing tonight.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And then why am I bringing up your stories? But
Obviously, you
the night-
idolize me.
Like the night you were trying to do nothing and somebody tried to rob you in the parking lot of the gas station. Yeah. That's a good story.
we need to hear this
Yeah,
one.
it's actually Home Depot. So
Oh, Home Depot, yeah.
You're not really the target that I would go for.
Well,
how tall and how much do you weigh again?
Well, to make this more clear, so I had a black, no, actually I had a Ford Expedition then. Well, I double tinted the windows so you couldn't see inside of them.
Okay.
And we were getting a string of robberies and burglaries at the Home Depot. So me and another undercover officer, were sitting over there. And this truck pulls behind me. And I'm thinking to myself, the way he pulled behind me, I was like, this ain't going to be good. So I can tell he's looking in the windows, but the windows are so dark you can't even see in them. So I'm just like, yeah, he's about to do it. So he pulls out his pistol and he's hitting the window and he's hitting the window. And I'm just like, luckily I have my vest on. So I'm just sitting there with my pistol pointed at it. And I said, are you seeing this? And I won't say her name. She's like, he don't know who's inside, does he? I said, apparently not, but I'm about to get in this ass like a bicycle with no seat. So he hits the window comes off. He sees me in there. He tries to run. I get out, tackle him. We get the guy. The girl tries to take off. The other female officer tackles her and all that stuff. So my sergeant was like, what did you do? I was like, I was just sitting there, sir. He goes, no. What did you do? I said, nothing. I was just sitting there. He goes, right. So luckily, Home Depot had video, it shows the whole thing. And he's just like, yeah, you're getting another car. That was the 5th time that I'd been attempted to be carjacked in Dallas in that car.
The fifth time.
The 5th time.
That was by far the best undercover car we had.
There's no doubt about it. So when I got that car, my sergeant said, do you want regular rims or carjack me rims? I'm like, come on, Sarge. Carjack me rims.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. I could drive that car anywhere and no one would look at me twice. It's the best car ever.
But you're sitting in a Home Depot parking lot. Bad guy rolls up behind you, comes up to your driver's window, and is using his pistol trying to break your window.
Yeah.
Has no idea there's a cop on the other side.
No. And he's on federal supervised release. Yeah. So calling his probation officer, and she was like, that idiot did what? It's like, yes, ma'am. She was like,
Come get him.
yeah, she violated him, had the warrant signed over within 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Common sense ain't so common.
Yeah. If you can't see what's on the other side of the glass, then
Yeah, you would think so. You would think so.
Or you'd think you'd walk to the front and look at the windshield.
You would think so, that
I'm
too.
just common sense, like you said. It's like, I can't see in any window this. I'm going to walk to the windshield and see if there's something inside.
Yeah, maybe I had old lady vibes coming out of that car. I don't know. Maybe he just thought he could take me. I don't know.
And that was one of 5 times?
Yeah, total of 7 while I was in that car. Till my sergeant was like, yeah, we're going to get you a new car. I fought tooth and nail to keep that car. But he did give me a big old souped up, jacked up Dodge Ram on a 4-inch lift. So I was like,
Okay.
I'll take that.
Yeah, very nice.
I'll take that.
Well, Brandon, you ever been carjacked?
I haven't. That's one thing I can say. He trained me on doing surveillance and undercover stuff when I took the class. He was one of the instructors, but I never made it to that unit or anything else before I ended up leaving Dallas. So I don't think anybody was bold enough to try and carjack a cop while they're sitting in a marked patrol unit. But at least when I was working.
Yeah.
Not in Texas, anyways.
Yeah, we had a few stolen. There was quite a few Dallas cars that were stolen.
There's definitely some stolen ones, yeah.
There was one, I won't say his name because he's still working there, but my sergeant used to be his sergeant when they were working downtown, and his squad car got stolen by a homeless guy, and the homeless guy drove it off, through downtown Dallas, and then ended up somehow parking it perfectly on the sidewalk in between 2 parking meters, to where there was only about a half an inch between
And Austin Powers
and just left it there. So, a lot of cars have been stolen. We got in a chase with one out to Arlington or Fort Worth or something one day because somebody left their keys in the car running, didn't lock it. Suspect climbed, because not every car in Dallas had cages, so they left a handcuffed suspect in a car with no cage, with no officer, and he just climbed over the seats, got his handcuffs in front of him, and took off in the car.
How
I was going to say, I also know that not y'all's, but Dallas's ambulance service was really bad about that. At least like once a week, an ambulance would get
they were
stolen
good
because they'd
there.
leave them
Yeah.
running, keep
Absolutely.
them warm or whatever, and all of a sudden some homeless guy get in and
Absolutely.
take off. And I remember
Absolutely.
they came all the way to Fort Worth one time. The guy went all the way to drove from Dallas to Fort Worth, and finally we caught him in a drive-through for a McDonald's. He's got hungry. He's like, "Oh, screw it, I'm done. I'm gonna get a Big Mac."
Yeah, that's how I caught some home invasion guys. I was working off duty at a bank, like just sitting on the ATM because it had been stolen, or they tried to steal it, so the ATM was wide open, and they hired one of us to just sit there and watch it. And I'm listening to this whole home invasion call going on. People are trying to find the suspect vehicle, and I look at the Jack in the Box drive-through, and I was like, "Hey, what's the description on that vehicle again?" And they gave me the vehicle. I said, "Oh yeah, it's sitting in the Jack in the Box driveway or drive-through right at the moment."
Can't beat that sourdough, man. Can't beat it.
This is Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. Check us out online at offbeatcopshow.com.
Let's welcome Daniel Cook from Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration into the studio. Daniel, how are you, sir?
Doing fantastic, Steve. Thank you.
Now, Daniel, how important is proper ventilation in a home?
Steve, that's a great topic. And I know a lot of people typically forget about it when it gets cooler outside and cold because, when you go up in your attic during this time of the year, it's not bad. You feel great. You're up there getting your holiday decorations down, putting them back up. You're not sweating anymore, and you're not thinking about ventilation anymore. And so the problem with that is a lot of people underestimate how much humidity and moisture can build up in your attic. And especially when you have a lot of nice warmth downstairs, all that moisture builds up inside your attic if you do not have it properly ventilated. And that can cause a lot of problems with your overall structure of your home. The nails get rusted because that moisture builds up in your attic. You have soggy wood that starts developing on the bottom. And of course, that nasty M word, mold, can start growing in your attic if you don't have good ventilation. And so all of these combined is why you have to have ventilation year round, not just in the summer because you want to try to get rid of that heat, but also in the winter and the fall and all those other times in between.
Well, very good. And if you're in need of a new roof repair, remodeling, or restoration, give Daniel a call at Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. The number's 833-COOK-DFW. Again, that's 833-COOK-DFW. The website, cookdfw.com. Be sure to ask them about their free first responder upgrade. And we're back. Back to more Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. I'm your host, Steve Rutherford. Co-host for today's show, Detective Curtis Hadley.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And we're joined with two guests in studio. We've got retired officer Brandon Bray,
Yeah, glad to be here.
and we've got Lieutenant Tank Douglas.
Thank you for having me.
Now, this segment sponsored by our good friends at Alexander Financial Management. If you have questions about retirement planning, investment strategies, life insurance, or estate planning, check out Alexander Financial Management at alexfm.com. Now, you guys were talking during the break, couple different stories you're into still there in Dallas, and you guys mentioned some bank robbery suspects.
Yeah, I'll do the lead in, and you can tell you're part of it. But up on Harry Hines in Dallas for a long time, there was a.
They've got
issue
this
with-
all orchestrated.
Yeah, it's like I'm just the opener for this guy. I warm the crowd up, and he's gonna close it out for you boys.
It's the same as the opening act for the strip
The
club.
stripper stuff. Yeah.
So there was a bunch of carjackings. People would watch people leave the bank, and if they left with a big enough bag, they'd basically do a bump and run.
Jugging.
Jugging as well.
On their vehicle, and then take off. And it was, daily.
It was,
probably for a while. And there was one specific one that Tank here was involved in. That it was one of those other times that I ended up showing up closer to the end because it didn't happen in my sector.
And you know what, Brandon? I see you now looking at Tank to continue this story. That was an extremely good segue.
Yeah,
correct?
it was. Yeah,
That-
with loving eyes too.
It really was. So
Yeah. of course.
I see how these
I mean,
two
I
are.
could pull up the pictures of us holding hands.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I mean,
We were very close.
Oh,
Wow.
We won't go that far.
yeah, enough from the gallery.
Yeah, we won't go that far.
yeah, like from the audience, even recommended you guys become firemen. Oh, yeah, okay. No, great segue.
Yeah, he remembers more of this stuff than I do. He always does. I'm like, yeah.
That's what
And
I'm
he
good
goes
at.
into it. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. So
All right, Tank, it's on you.
Bank robbery.
Yeah. Anyway,
do I need to tell this one too?
yeah. Start off. I don't remember some of this stuff. I remember the ending part of it, but how they high side their vehicle on that
So-
big old rock,
Yeah. So Tank was in his,
carjacked me.
carjack me car and ended up spotting. I think you were going opposite direction.
Yeah, I
and
was,
you ended
yeah.
up hopping the median and Harry Hines, and you got behind it. You and one of the other UCs for
Yeah, I won't say his name. Yeah.
Yeah, and trying to get uniforms to come in and stop them, and then they tried to make that left-hand U-turn type thing at Harry Hines and Webb Chapel Extension, and then that's when you can kind of take over on that one.
Well, we kind of assisted them in making that turn by cutting them off. But when you're in a hurry trying to get away, I mean, apparently he wasn't paying attention. And I mean, he hit this rock, and I don't know how he did it. He hit the curb, popped up on this big old rock, and there was nowhere to go. But meanwhile, before they're doing this, I think they kind of got an idea that we're following them. So this is when the money starts to come out. And I'm just like, oh, man.
Just throwing it out of
Just
cars.
thrown out
and
of windows, man. And I'm just like, back then we had trunk radios, which only undercover guys could listen to. So this particular officer who no longer works there, who is a nut, is like, remember that location where they threw that money, but don't remember that location where they threw the money. And you hear my sergeant go, 10-9? Nothing. Anyway,
You heard nothing.
nothing, sir. So this car high sides it, and he's up on top of this thing. And these ding dongs are, first of all, I don't know how one gets hung up in the seatbelt. And then he's trying to get out. And by this time, I don't even think we ran up to the car. We just kind of casually walked up there and just pulled our pistols out. And it's just like, it's over. It's over.
That was just poor planning on their part,
Just get out. And I think one of them, yeah, he did. I guess they were inspecting the money, and one of the purple dyes went off.
Awesome.
The crazy part about it, he kept saying it was his money. I was like, oh, it is.
Oh.
I said, do you normally paint your money with purple? It's my money. It is my money. I said, okay. All right, well.
Possession is 9-10.
I stole
that
it
is
fair and
true.
square.
Yeah, so we get these guys in custody, and of course, we get all the kudos and all that other stuff. So, of course, my sergeant was just like, how did he end up on the rock? And he was always knowing we were up to stuff. I mean, we were tactful about how we did it, but, I was just like, lost control. Oh. No uniforms around? It's like, no, not that we could see. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. By the time I got there, and he says rock, but it wasn't a rock. I mean, this boulder
It was a boulder.
was at least 4.5 feet tall.
It was a boulder.
And I pull up, and this car's teeter-tottering right on the edge of this boulder. And there's money literally everywhere. Blowing in the wind. Officers are trying to pick up all this money in the middle of Harry Hines Boulevard. I pulled up.
Is there still one tire rolling though? Right? There's got to be one tire spinning. That's how it is in the movies.
And a guy in his seatbelt, stuck in his seatbelt. Just
There's purple paint all over him.
This was one of those where I didn't on-scene myself when I got there. I just rolled up. I was like, you guys are good, right? I'm like, yeah, they disregarded me. So that way I didn't have to type anything on that one.
Yeah.
just hit remove on the computer and just kind of turn off to the right and right on down. I guess you're down there right around left field then. You're down there.
Yeah, just north
Bachman
of
Lake
there.
area.
Yep.
Webb Chapel Extension.
It's good times over there.
Yep.
Very good times.
Well, and you guys were there on the northwest side of Dallas, so you guys are right up against my city because you're Northwest Highway, Harry Hines.
Yeah, we would get stopped quite a bit in Farmers Branch when we were doing undercover work.
We always told people, hey, if you don't want to get stopped, don't drive through Farmers Branch.
Yeah, they only have 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Every car gets stopped by patrol.
Yeah. It's like, that guy don't live here. That's PC, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, and what you said earlier, once you switch over to day shift, everything looks different.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent, almost my first 10 years in patrol working nights. There's one hotel we had that I I swore it was white, and then I'd switch to days. It's pink. I'm like, holy, how long's that been pink? And everyone's like, it's Steve. It's always been that color.
1972.
But yeah, right. But I bring that up because you guys talk about Webb Chapel Extension. You go north, becomes Webb Chapel, goes through the north end of Dallas, and then Farmers Branch. There'd be a night, you're working night shift, and everybody's fighting over the traffic because. Hey, traffic drives up Farmers Branch 10 o'clock. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You see one pair of headlights coming down Webb Chapel, and then you see about 6 pairs following it. And as it passes you, then you see squad car, and you got 6 squads behind it. Everyone's trying to get probable cause to stop that vehicle so they get their traffic stops in.
That's where that 7-Eleven was, right? Webb Chapel and 635.
Yeah, they built that I don't know, several years back.
Yeah, that's where we would always meet. The Farmers Branch guys that we knew at nighttime, that was the location for us to hang out until they did that traffic stop stuff, which I didn't know how to do.
Yeah, we were told Dallas doesn't do traffic stops. Dallas County will, though.
Yeah,
felony stops.
We do felony stops all day. Yeah, textbook felony stops.
I just loved it because that service road there on the north side of 635, the westbound service road, from the north curb south was Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, the service road on the north side of 635, the westbound one, that didn't even belong to us.
Didn't make sense.
I loved it. Show up, take the accident at Webb Chapel and 635. You get there, that's Dallas. Notify them.
Yeah,
good to go.
It's like when that hospital right there would call us and say, "Hey, we have this guy complaining of being assaulted," and we'd show up. Where did this happen at? It happened north of here, right? Oh, call Farmers Branch. It's not ours.
Oh, I gave someone a free ride once out of our city and dropped them off at a hotel in Dallas because they like, hey, where are you headed to? Guy walking down one of our streets in the middle of the night. He looked like he was up to no good. I didn't have anything on him. I said, hey, where are you headed to? I'm just passing through. Where are you trying to get to? I'm trying to get to Dallas. Let me hurry up and get you there.
Yeah.
So I dropped him off at a hotel in Dallas, and as soon as we pulled up, I was opening up the back door to let him out, and you guys had an off-duty officer in the parking lot. Walked over, was like, what's going on? I'm like, he just said he need a ride here. Got him out, the door shut, and took off. I was like, yeah, I won that night. So, anyways.
Yeah, I was popular back in the day dropping people off.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I never dropped anybody off in Irving or
we used to do that all the time.
Well, it's helping them out. Some people, they're trying to get to a different location, and it's going to take them a while to walk. So,
or they need to be relocated, depending on who we're dealing with.
It's benevolent of you guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm there to help.
Yeah.
So, what other kind of crazy stuff you guys see when you're together?
Well, so after a while, we were working different shifts because you were on days, and I chose to work at night for my entire time in Dallas. But probably the most trouble I've gotten into in Dallas was because of him.
Whoa! Can we say this?
Oh yeah, I got cleared of everything except for one thing, and that was just not wearing my body mic. So all the other stuff I got cleared on. But plus I'm retired now, so I don't really care. But my partner and I, we were getting off early that night, so I worked the 6P to 4A shift, which we called fourth watch, and I'd worked that for years. Had the same partner for 6 years of that time, and we were getting off early. It was our Friday. All of a sudden, hear Tank call for an officer assist over the radio, which is the only time that I've ever heard him call an officer assist. So
doesn't do this kind of thing. Huh?
Yeah. So right then, it's like, all right, we need to go see what's going on. At least help. We're super close because we were at the station and he was at Red River, which is right around the block basically. So we get back in our squad car and haul ass over there. We're the first officers out in the parking lot, and I can't find him. I have absolutely no idea where he is. I get out of the car, and everybody that's out in the parking lot is just pointing at this taxi that I'm parked behind, but I don't see anybody in it. And then all of a sudden, the rear right door opens up, and I gave you guys this reference earlier, but if anybody's seen Ace Ventura 2, when Ace Ventura is trying to get out of the rhino's ass, it's this guy trying to get out of the backseat of the cab, and all I see is his 2 hands push out, and he's birthing himself out of the backseat of this car because the suspect, somehow him and the suspect both got in the backseat of the car, and they both got stuck. So we get there, and I help him get out of the car, and then we help in quotes, get the suspect out of the car. And by that time, it's raining police. And he, on the camera of the car, he just gets out and he's just wandering around in a circle because he's like, I can't believe this just happened. Like, what the hell is going on? So then, it's all the officers that show up, end up, putting the guy in custody and all this other stuff. But I probably watched that video of you trying to climb out of that car with my sergeant probably 12 times, just laughing at you the entire time.
So, help me understand. How is it that you were stuck in the back?
Well, first off, I've never, I think but one time when I got T-boned, ever called for an assist. But this particular gentleman was intoxicated and they asked him to leave. He's a pretty big guy. So me being me, I was like, hey, let's get you a cab. That was very common. That's what we did, get people cabs. He's like, no, I'm going to drive. I said, that's probably not the best thing to do. I said, because we knew sometimes DPS would sit across the street and wait for them to come out and they would light him up. So I was trying to tell him that, just encourage him to take this cab.
Now here, I'm trying to help you out.
Yeah. So meanwhile, he's giving me the angry stare, and this cab that pulls up is this little tiny cab, and I'm just like, yeah, he's going to have trouble getting in this one. So we're looking for another cab, but there are no other cabs. But now he's starting to get agitated, and he's like, I'm not going. I said, yeah, you're going. I said, this is the best option for you. I said, the other option is I'm going to have to PI you, and I don't want to do that. I said, so why don't you just get in the cab, and then we'll call it a night. I said, you know what? We're here all night. We'll be watching your car. Just come back in the morning, and it'll still be here. I said, most of the guys would go over there and do the reports anyway. So we never had any issues with anybody leaving the car out there. And he's just like, I'm not leaving. I said, okay. I said, well, you're going to give me no option but to put you in jail. He goes, I'm not going to jail either. I was like, okay, well, what are we doing here? And at that time, he took a swing at me. So here I am. I'm blocking the swing. And I don't remember how we ended up in this cab, but I remember pushing him. And then everything went black. So we're in this back of this cab, but I remember trying to raise up. It's like there's no room to raise up. And he's throwing punches, and I'm holding his face down, and I'm just like, I can't get out of this cab. We're stuck. And this dude is big, and his belly's big. So I'm feeling like I'm weeble wobbling on this dude. So finally I kind of get around him and kind of put him in a little snot lock to hold him and put him out. Meanwhile, I'm just like, I still can't get out of this cab. I can't open the door. This guy's still throwing blows at me. And I'm just like, I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to call somebody to help me. And then I call for an assist. Meanwhile, this guy's kind of lethargic at this point in time. So I'm looking to see I can't reach my flashlight. I can't do anything. So I finally get the door open. I'm feeling like I can finally breathe and like I'm claustrophobic. And then that's when my son rolled up there and saw his father in dire needs of being birthed out of this vehicle. And I just remember it's just like, I can't believe I just encountered this situation where now I know everybody's going to give me shit about.
Yeah.
Oh, you better believe
It's dodocumented at this point.
I knew it. I knew it.
It's
I'd be more offended if they didn't.
For my kids too, so.
Yeah. And what's funny is that some officers, if you knew how IED was in Dallas, it was totally different. They be going on these fishing expeditions, and it was ridiculous, man. Nobody did anything wrong. I mean, I got exonerated, by the way. It was great.
Yeah, you didn't have a body mic you were supposed to be wearing.
Not off duty, sir. Not off duty. But
That's a good point.
So, but yeah, it turned out to be a funny deal. Everyone talked about, But yeah.
I mean, hell, I still get crap from everybody from when I got bit and
Yeah,
had
he got
surgery.
bit.
So
Did y'all think about maybe getting the cab driver some help, like mentally?
Yeah, well, he actually jumped out of the cab and took off running. I was just like, hey,
I
man.
never even saw him.
He's like, yeah, not
never
my
saw
cab,
the
not
cab.
my problem, boys.
Couldn't even find him after that. I was like, I guess we're towing this thing.
You made a cab driver quit his job. He's like, I'm done.
Like, the hell
I'm
with
done.
this
It's not
cab.
worth it, man.
Don't even belong to me.
I'm doing a 1099 for this.
Yeah. So they gave me hell about that for a long time. For a long, long time.
Well, and as your coworkers, it's their responsibility.
Absolutely.
We have a duty to do it.
Yeah, they did. And let me tell you, they were relentless about it.
Well, it's our honor.
Yeah, that's what coworkers do, That's what they do. So, but then he talks about it all the time, so it tells me he idolized.
Yeah, I mean,
quite a bit.
I got statues of you at my house and stuff.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I just have them hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all need a little alone time here. I mean,
No,
we're good.
We're
It's a
good.
beautiful bromance. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
now going back to that, you're working off duty at that time? Or
Oh,
were you-
yeah.
Okay, you're off duty. You're working at a bar. Any other calls at bars you guys responded to?
Yeah, same bar.
Yeah, we would get a lot
Same
of
bar.
issues.
Yeah, that bar
with
is-
the bar. Not really particularly Cowboys. It was the bar across the street. You know, and particularly all black clubs. So those guys would try to come over and start stuff, and I would have to remind these dudes. It's like, yeah, these guys over here hunt for a living. They don't shoot sideways. They actually use scopes. So if you want to come over here with that mess, I'm with these guys.
Yeah.
You know, but we rarely did have issues, but we would get the gangbangers that would come over there quite a bit from across the street.
Yeah, there was one night my partner and I got tacos because that's what we would do. And on the nights he was working off duty, we'd go get tacos and then we'd go over to the parking lot and hang out with him while we were eating. As we're eating, we hear the bass from the car coming through the parking lot, and it's this chop top Cadillac. And the guys in the car are all throwing gang signs as they drive through the parking lot of this country western bar. And I mean, it's getting to be 2:00 when they're all going to be leaving. And we know that this is going to be a mess. Yeah. So he jumps out in front of the car, stops them in the parking lot, and, you know, gives them his lecture, like try and, you know, scare them straight, at least not to come into the parking lot. We know where they're going to do something stupid, but just go do it somewhere else. Don't do it here.
Yeah.
And they leave. I didn't even get through one taco, I don't think, before they came back through.
That's how they measure time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was two tacos later.
I would imagine that's about 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, about that.
With him eating it?
Oh, yeah, 2 bites.
Was it one hand or two-handed?
They come back through. We hear it again. We see the car. And now, again, he's 6'4". I'm only 5'9". So I hide behind cars a little bit better than he does. But we're trying to hide behind cars and go through, like we're zigzagging through all these parked cars to get to this car so they can't see us. He gets there first. And all I see from like 15 feet away is the car driving by with the convertible top, a passenger sitting on the back of the trunk, and he just reaches out and grabs the guy by his shirt, lifts him up as the car's driving out, and he's just standing there static.
Oh, this guy.
And gets him down, and that's when, you know, the whole lecture started. And of course, when we were on scene together, he would always do the talking, and I would just stand there in the background, and he would always use that as, it's not me you got to worry about. You got to worry about the quiet guy, blah, 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 all this other stuff. So, of course, he's using me to threaten. I'm just standing there like, I'm not the one that just picked the dude up out of the car while it was still moving.
I assumed he was using sign language. He didn't speak very well, could hear. So that's the reason why we snatched him out of the vehicle.
Let's welcome David from Sydney Leisure Farmers Insurance Agency into the studio. Their number is 972-784-8888. How are you doing, David?
I'm doing well, Steve. Thanks for asking.
Now, in regards to home insurance, what should homeowners be aware of when they're shopping for a policy or looking to change insurance companies?
One of the main things is you want to look at what type of deductibles they offer, and does that company pay claims? Because what's the use of having insurance if, you know, you have to struggle with them getting to pay claims? So really look into what type of company it is and how good they are at paying claims.
And you did mention deductibles. You need to make sure that if you are going to file a claim, it at least exceeds your deductible, correct?
Absolutely. So let's say a hailstorm comes in and, you know, I have some hail damage. So you can contact any roofer or any insurance company. They'll come out. Usually roofers will do free inspections, and they'll tell you, okay, let's say you have a 2% deductible. It's, you know, $15,000, and let's say you have $12,000 in damage. Well, you don't want to file a claim because that claim is going to stay on your record for 5 years. So you want to make sure that the damage meets the deductible or exceeds the deductible.
Very good. And as I understand, you guys offer a discount for first responders, correct?
We do. It's about a 10% discount for first responders.
Good deal. Give the team at Cindy Leisure Farmers Insurance Agency a call for any of your insurance needs. The number is 972-784-8888. Again, the number 972-784-8888. Be sure to ask them about their first responder discount.
Planning for the future is challenging, and getting where you want to go in life requires strategies built around your unique financial needs. Alexander Financial Management is here to help you reach your goals. As fiduciaries, Alexander Financial Management will pursue the best solutions for you, no exception. While their decades of experience and service are available to everyone, Alexander Financial especially wants to help first responders and their families. The founder is a former police officer, and the executive team includes a retired fire captain and a retired police officer. Their extensive background in public service gives a deep understanding of the public retirement systems of Texas. So for retirement planning, investment strategies, life insurance, and estate planning, Alexander Financial Management has your back, so you can look forward. Get more info at alexfm.com. That's alexfm.com. Investment advisory services offered through Transcend LLC, a registered investment advisor. TE3 and Alexander Financial are not affiliated entities. Insurance products and services are not offered through TE3, but are offered and sold through individually licensed and appointed agents.
And we're back. Back to more Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. We got two guests joining us today. We got retired officer Brandon Bray.
Hey, good to be here.
And we got Lieutenant Tank Douglas.
Thank you for having me.
Now, if you have not been to the website yet, check it out. That's offbeatcopshow.com. Again, offbeatcopshow.com. You can listen to all episodes there on the website, as well as if you look at the top of the website, there's a link there for the RMS Treehouse Listeners Foundation. Of course, the foundation been around for a number of years, started by our friend Russ Martin, and carried on with the guys over there at the Treehouse. The foundation provides monetary assistance to families of our fallen police and firefighters here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It covers 10 counties. Very, very important. And anyways, if you feel so inclined, click on that link. You can donate there online. Again, that's the RMS Treehouse Listeners Foundation. Also, check us out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Give us a like, a share, a follow, this, that.
Tweet. We don't do MySpace, though. No MySpace.
Yeah, no MySpace. That's just Curtis. You're the only one left in the world that's...
Hey, Tom's still my friend.
Okay. And if you're an officer and you got a funny story you'd like to come on the show and share with our listeners, send us an email. That's offbeatcopshow@gmail.com. Again, offbeatcopshow@gmail.com. Curtis, you're very good with the assist on that. You're the .com guy. All right, moving right along. Now, Tank, you were talking about doing a drive-by with a taser?
Yeah, I'm probably the only undercover who's had more taser deployments in deployment history.
That's kind of nice because I never carried a taser when I was undercover.
And I don't know what started me doing that, but actually I do. There's a couple things. But we had some officers that gotten occupied stolen. And right over there off of the Northwest Highway and Harry Hines. Well,
I would just like to, I just want to point out, most of y'all stories either have Harry Hines or Northwest Highway.
Absolutely. No, yeah. Yeah, lovely establishment. I mean, guys, I've been there before.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I apologize for the interruption.
No, that's all right, man. That's where most of our business was taking place anyway. But they got this car occupied, and I was over there off of Technology, just leaving the DEA building on another thing. And they started going westbound, and they pulled into Technology as I'm coming out. Well, by this time, the car runs out of gas. So instead of the guy getting out and running, he gets out and pulls out a big old knife. Well, of course, officers are doing a felony stop, trying to get this guy to comply. Well, I'm rolling by with my window down, my arm halfway out the window, and I see this guy. He's got his back. I was like, I've been praying for this.
Thank you, Jesus.
I've been praying for this.
I'll be rolling in for the assist.
And he gives me his back, and this is about the 7th or 8th time they gave him commands, and I was like, green light. So I light him up. He falls. It's like we won the championship. Everyone's like, hell yeah. They get the guy in custody, and he doesn't get hurt, and officers don't get involved in the shooting. So it turns out to be great.
Now, you're in a UC vehicle?
I'm in the Carjack me car.
You're in the Carjack me car.
Yes.
Did these plainclothes, well, not plainclothes, did these uniform officers know
Yeah,
that was you?
They knew it was me.
Oh,
Yeah.
they know
Oh,
the
okay.
tank.
They didn't think they're on this felony high risk takedown stop, and just some guy comes rolling up, holds
Now,
the
the guy
taser out
with-
the window, and
Yeah, the guy with the knife had no idea. Even when it was done, he's like,
Right.
"What? What? Did I just crap myself?"
It was priceless.
yeah, that's got to be so confusing for him.
Yeah.
Because he's in his vehicle or just stepped outside his vehicle.
So he's standing outside of his vehicle with his knife, with his back turned to me, like, "Yeah, come get me."
So he's looking at these.
He's looking at the
uniforms,
officers, right?
Yeah. So
and they're a long ways away.
Yeah,
And next thing you know, he's
here I come.
next thing you know, he's
It was great.
The part you left out of that is when he just waved at him as he drove off.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, can you bring my taser back when you're done?"
just take the cartridge.
Yeah,
off
exactly
and
what I did.
leave it there and just honk at him. Y'all have
Yeah.
fun, fellas.
Yeah. So the next day, my chief at the time was like, "Explain to me how we do drive-by tasings." I was like, "Oh, that's easy, ma'am.
You just
You just stick your taser out the window while you're driving by."
yeah, just maintain a constant speed. Keep
Yeah.
your eyes on the road and deploy.
Thinking I was going to get in trouble, she was like, "I wish I was there." Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, very creative. Hey, use the tools. Use the
Absolutely.
tools you got. All right, guys, that's what we got for today's show. Brandon, Tank, thanks for being on the show today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for
pleasure.
having us.
Been a pleasure having you guys here in the
Absolutely.
studio. You two try to stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we're apart, we're good.
Yeah. When we don't see each other, nothing happens.
Everything's great.
Okay. Well, you guys be careful and stay safe.
they even drove separate cars here.
Yeah.
That's probably a good thing. We'll hold one of them back so the other one leaves.
Give a head start.
Yeah.
Something would be seen if we were. He would look out the window and be like, "Oh, that dude's about to shoot that guy." Like, yeah.
All right, guys. Keep it real. Keep it funny. Until next time, stay safe and watch each other 6.